Welcome back to I Reckon. Today we have an NDE by a man named George Ritchie. He met Jesus. Jesus showed him different realms in the spiritual world and also gave him visions of Earth's future. His NDE occurred in 1943. So this is a long story. He wrote a book on it called Return from Tomorrow. So I'm just going to do a brief summary of George Ritchie's NDE. George Ritchie dies of pneumonia in a Texas hospital, an Army Texas hospital, and leaves his body unaware he is dead. He wanders around the hospital ward and wonders why people can't see or hear him. Wanting eagerly to travel to Richmond, Virginia, to finish college, the thought instantly sends him flying through the door of the hospital and into the air, traveling thousands of miles toward Richmond. He is bewildered about these sudden supernatural powers of flight and transparency he has attained. He then arrives at a city with a bar and discovers the people there cannot see or hear him either. He also has no solidness there either. He flies back to the Army hospital where he sees his lifeless body in the morgue and realizes he is dead. Suddenly, a being of tremendous light and love appeared before him. Ritchie realizes this light is like a million welders' lamps all blazing at once. Human eyes would be destroyed in a second if they saw it. The being tells Ritchie to stand up. Ritchie is astonished to learn he is standing before Jesus Christ. More than anything emanating from Jesus was the unbelievable amount of unconditional love shining from him. A love that knew everything about Ritchie and loved him just the same. Simultaneously as Jesus appeared to him, Ritchie watches his entire life displayed before him. And Jesus asks him, "What have you done with your life?" Ritchie tries to come up with several examples, but realizes he has fallen short. Ritchie eventually realizes Jesus is not judging him at all, but rather, Ritchie was judging himself. And the question, "What have you done with your life?" had more to do with how much unconditional love have you given others? Then Jesus begins to take Ritchie on a journey through various realms of the afterlife. They fly toward a large city on earth, where they notice a group of assembly line workers. They witness the spirit of a woman trying desperately to grab a cigarette from the workers, who were oblivious to her presence. The woman had died severely addicted to cigarettes, and was now cut off from the one thing she desperately desired most. Ritchie realizes how the spirits in these realms immediately know the thoughts of other spirits around them. This is the reason they tend to group together with the other spirits. It is too threatening to be around others who knew and disagreed with their thoughts. Jesus leads Ritchie to a house somewhere on earth where he is shown the spirit of a young man following his living family members around and begging them for forgiveness. But the family members are completely unaware of his presence. Jesus tells Ritchie the young man committed suicide and is chained to every consequence of his act. They then traveled to a bar somewhere on earth, which was filled with sailors drinking heavily. Spirits surrounded the sailors as they tried desperately and in vain to grasp the shot glasses to get a drink. Other spirits tried to control the sailors' alcoholic behavior. Ritchie learns these are the spirits of people who died, still having a severe alcoholic addiction, which went beyond the physical. He is bewildered as he observes one of the sailors passing out, causing the sailor's protective aura surrounding him to crack open. When it does, it allows a spirit to scramble into the sailor's unconscious body. This scene was repeated over and over. Jesus then takes Ritchie to another realm and is shown kind of a receiving station where spirits would arrive in a deep hypnotic sleep because of a particular religious belief they held to be true. Here there were angels trying to arouse them and help them realize God is truly a God of the living, and that they did not have to lie around sleeping until Gabriel or someone came along blowing on a horn. These are the spirits of people who believe they must sleep in their grave until the second coming of Christ. They were still somewhere on the surface of the earth, but no living person or beings of light could be seen. Before them was a plain jammed with hordes of spirits who are most miserable and angriest beings he has ever seen. Many were engaged in hand-to-hand combat with no weapons, trying in vain to hurt and kill those who didn't agree with them. A lot of verbal abuse could be heard between them, as their thoughts could be heard by everyone around them the moment they are thought. Richie is horrified as he wonders what living in such a room would be like, a place where you cannot hide from who you really are. These spirits were locked into destructive thought patterns, rage, and uncontrollable lust. Some were trying in vain to get sexual gratification from each other. The wailing coming from the hordes of unsatisfied spirits was tremendous. Other spirits were in despair, saying things such as, "I always knew," and "Didn't I warn you?" Richie realizes this place is truly hell. Their obsessive thoughts and emotions extended beyond the physical realm and into the spiritual realm, where they cannot be satisfied. Yet there was nothing preventing any of the poor spirits in this realm from leaving. There was no condemnation coming from Jesus either, only compassion for these miserable spirits. Richie realizes Jesus hadn't abandoned any of them here. Instead, they fled from the light to escape from having the darkness of their heart from being revealed. Then they travel to a completely different realm, where some kind of enormous university is located. Spirits dressed as monks, busily and happily engaged in some form of artistic behavior or research. An enormous library exists here, where all the important books of the universe are assembled. Richie asks Jesus, "Is this in heaven?" These are the spirits of people who grew beyond selfish desires while on earth. But like the spirits in hell, these spirits cannot see Jesus either. Richie is then taken into outer space, toward a distant city made of brilliant light, similar in description to the heavenly city in the book of Revelation. This is the place where people go who have become like Jesus while on earth, a place where love is the dominant focus of life. This is heaven, he realizes, but he is not allowed to enter in. Instead, Jesus shows him the future of earth. Jesus first informed him he had 45 years to accomplish his mission in life. It is left to humanity which direction they shall choose. I came to this planet to show you, through the life I led, how to love. Without our Father, you can do nothing. Neither could I. I showed you this. You have 45 years. Richie saw increasing natural disasters on Earth. Hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, volcanoes, families splitting up, and governments are breaking apart because of people thinking only of themselves, and armies marching on the U.S. from the south. He also saw explosions occurring all over the world of a magnitude beyond our capacity to imagine. He was told that if they continued, human life as we know it would not exist, at which point he was sent back to his body and he was revived from the dead. So that is the summary of Richie's experience going through different realms with Jesus Christ and seeing everything. If you want to look into it more, again, the name of the book is Return from Tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed that one today. Definitely an eye-opener. Please share, like, subscribe so you can be here for the next video I post. You guys have a great day. I reckon we'll be back.